What is good, everyone? My name is Mize, and I am back with a new video. I have been gone for a little bit. I haven't been uploading. I've been very busy with work, but I am back to talk about a recent announcement from a very popular game that I think all of us know pretty well by now. So, as all of you may have heard, Genshin Impact actually dropped a video not too long ago. I think it was only about few days ago, which I actually ended up seeing like a few minutes after it came out, where they announced that they are having a long-term collaboration project with none other than the leader of animation in this new era of anime that we are in, ufotable. And that, my friends, is a very, very exciting endeavor. Now, I think all of us kind of expected, Genshin Impact is popular enough to where we would probably get an anime adaptation of it soon. There are, some studios that have picked up other games. It's not surprising to see a game get some sort of adaptation into TV or movie and stuff like that. But for ufotable, the same people who make Demon Slayer, to pick up this project and to take it into their own hands is by far the best case scenario for Genshin Impact, and in my personal view is already a high contender for one of the best video game to anime adaptations in all time. I mean, just looking at the trailer, which I'll leave up here to just constantly run to have something on the screen for you guys to see, it already looks really good. The landscape looks amazing, the lighting's beautiful, the character designs obviously pulled from Genshin Impact, which is really good. The only thing that I find a little weird is that the animation kind of has akin to just being like a video game cutscene. It has that feeling where it would play more into that than it being more of an actual smoother, kind of little bit more polished, a little bit more, I don't know exactly the right words to say, but you get what I mean. You look at Demon Slayer and there's a little bit more of a mixture in tone and shininess to it, where this one, while it still looks good, the animation still looks nice and still looks smooth, it looks a little bit more flatter than something that ufotable would usually put out, but it still looks great. It still looks amazing. That's not knocking it. I just thought that would be an interesting thing to point out. Now, obviously, when a new big project like this is announced, and obviously everyone is excited, we all have to kind of give our hypothesis to things that could potentially be coming out. So I thought I'd at least bring up a couple of questions that the Genshin Impact community and the anime community as a whole should be asking themselves, knowing that this collaboration is a thing and when this comes out in 2023. First off, and honestly kind of the biggest thing, is which sibling are we going to be following? And I think that question is a big question going into this anime. Also, I usually don't do this, but I will say that this is a spoiler warning for anybody who hasn't played the game or plans on playing the game due to this announcement. I will be talking about things related to it. I haven't played any of the new DLC that's come out, but I will be talking about the knowledge that at least I know of, which is going to be from the main game where we start at Mondstadt all the way to Inazuma. But yeah, the two siblings are a brother and a sister who get sucked into this new world of, I forget the name of it, holy shit. But yes, the sibling pair is a brother and sister who get sucked into a whole new world called Tevet, that they lose each other, and you, when you get sucked in, get the choice of either being the brother or the sister companion. Now, the way I see it, there's two ways that we can go about this. Now, there's the obvious way where you would pick one sibling that would be following everything, right? So just as the game goes, where we or pick one of the siblings, the anime would pick one of the siblings. And if they did, I don't want to be that guy, but it seems like a lot more people do pick the female sister rather than the brother. I don't know why I said female sister, but the sister companion rather than the brother companion, because I don't know, lots more people like playing as girls. So in order for it to be more relatable and for people to more enjoy it, they might just pick the sister. And I also feel like the sister just makes more sense. I'm gonna be honest, I can't really explain to you why, but to me, picking the sister as the one that we follow, if they decide to go down that route, could be the option and would be the best choice. However, something that we could go ahead and actually do with this anime is do it from both of their perspectives. So you don't necessarily need to choose, but you could follow whichever sibling is looking for, the other sibling and going through like Mondstadt and Inazuma and Liyue and going through that whole adventure, being paired with Paimon, and then the other sibling getting caught up in the whole secret society thing and becoming the king/queen and ruling over and helping them trying to take back the land of Tibet that they think that they lost. While I think that is interesting, I think it deviates a little bit from what we know from the game, since we don't really know much about what the other sibling does when they're confronted by that society of the hilly trolls and the sorcerers and all that stuff. We don't necessarily know all the trials and tribulations that they went through. We only know about the person that we chose to be and that we chose to follow through their own journey of finding their sibling. So that could be a new aspect that the anime brings in, although I don't know how well that's going to go, because I don't know how much they can deviate from the plot or the idea of Genshin Impact without making, the fan base upset. So that's something I think they'll have to decide, because I feel like that's also kind of important to the way you want to tell the story. The other question I want to ask is if we'll be getting any side stories that we follow, any maybe one-off episodes where we follow a particular character. Like, for example, I know that Diluc is known as like the secret knight person that saves everyone, but on the surface he's known as very much hating the Mondstadt hierarchy that's kind of been established in that kingdom. So it's one of those things where you can tell his story about Diluc being like the secret savior and Kaya knowing all that and them butting heads somewhat. But is that something that we're going to get? Or are we just going to get the story of the sibling? Personally, they probably shouldn't be focusing too much on the side story and just focusing on the adventures that revolve around the sibling. However, if they want to be smart, they could go ahead and make a side OVA or like a Genshin Impact Tibet stories or thing. I think that'd be pretty interesting. It'd also be a nice little money grab, but regardless, I think that'd be interesting to keep them separate, so the main story tells the story of the sibling and their adventure, and then anything else that goes over in Mondstadt that doesn't have to do directly with the adventure of the sibling can be put somewhere else. And speaking of characters and their side stories, another thing I feel like they also have to talk about is whether or not they want to go ahead and decide if they want to remove any characters or certain characters that may not be important. Now, this one is a little bit more of a hot button issue because there are a lot of characters in this story, and there are a lot of characters that do matter to the overall grand scheme of the siblings' adventure, or the traveler's adventure. I keep saying siblings, but I know that it's called the traveler. I just, I'm saying siblings because, you could either pick the girl or the guy, but regardless or not, that is important. There are a lot of characters that, do matter to the overall experience for the traveler. With that being said, not all of them are that integral. And when you're making an anime like that, you do have to question ones that you maybe need to focus on less, ones you may need to focus on more, or ones that, when you're making an anime, which ones are truly important to actually being made, or ones that may just be one-off to another episode. Because I will say, it will be answered in a different question, but obviously with the seasonal breakdown, depending on how they break it, we might only be following certain characters for, if they want to do it in a certain way, just like one season. They may have some like one-off stuff like here and there. Like I know there's some characters that you can travel from certain places to Silver States, but like other than, the main bad guys in the story where you see recurring, no one else from their respective kingdoms really does that much traveling, with the exception of like very diffuse elect people. So that is where that comes in, and that decision becomes a little bit more harder to make. Although if they want to make it happy, I would assume everyone would be in the anime at some point, or would be involved in the anime at some point, but how integral they are or how long lasting they're going to be is the bigger question. And I have a feeling A lot of them might not be that long lasting. And then finally, while it doesn't have to do or pertain to anything to the actual story, it is important to ask whether they going to make this a seasonal release thing or something that's a little bit more continuous, because obviously most anime that come out now, a lot of them, unless they're a very, very big studio that can actually afford or do this, don't actually do like the weekly release things. Like the only ones that ever do that is really huge big projects like Boruto or One Piece or stuff like that, things that would take hundreds and hundreds of episodes. And while this is a long-term collaboration, we don't know how long-term it could be. It could be a few years and we only get a couple of seasons where they talk about a couple of things. We could get like, you know, an actual long, like multiple 100-episode anime that spans through God knows how fucking long. Hopefully not as long as One Piece, so we can actually get to the end or whatever the story is. But obviously it has to go like at a decent pace that doesn't catch up with the video game. That way the video game can actually release stuff and do its thing on its own. But I digress. So yeah, that's at least some of the questions I feel like as a community we need to ask. There may be some I might not be thinking about right now, but as of this moment, those are, I think, or at least important questions that we should ask, knowing that this collaboration is coming around 2023. And overall, I am very excited. Since playing the game, I have invested so much time and I have loved every minute of the story, honestly. The story is amazing, it's enthralling, it has so much character and great fucking world building. It's a great time, and I'm very excited to know that it's getting an anime adaptation by one of the greatest modern era anime studios there is out there. It definitely excites me. I'm excited. Everyone else is excited, and they have every right to be excited. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the announcement of Genshin Impact getting an anime adaptation. Do you love it? Do you hate it? What would you rate it? I am sorry for Hannah taking your line, but you know, that's how it be sometimes. But yeah, tell me what you guys think about the announcement, and if you guys are excited. You can check out all my social medias in the bottom description as usual. Remember to go support Kill the Crooks. That helps me and the channel and do everything that I support. So please, if you can, check out their merchandise, or at the very least, click the link to get the impressions. That way, you know, I can show them that I'm supporting them in the way that I can. I'm getting some changes in the way. I wanted to, you know, say much, but I am going to try to do a, you know, 3-day-a-week upload, seeing the channel now getting an actual little bit more traction, which I personally really appreciate. I really like that. I might put out a solo podcast of doing weekly anime reviews for the new season, because there's a lot of shit that's coming out, and I'm going to try to keep with that momentum. I got a lot of things that I'm working on right now. But thank you guys for watching. I definitely appreciate it. Leave a comment down below what you think, and I will see you guys and my little D-gens in the next video. Peace. My digital smile is leaking molecular. Finger game though is fucking spectacular. It's really dudes I'm playing these games, but I get no bitches though. Well, that's a shame. Fat and lazy, yeah, that is the MO. Asked a girl out and she said, "No, hold up, bro. Did she get the memo? Bitch, your best thing. He take a mental."